Hello, I'm Putra and I'm from UniversitasDinamika. I will be the third speaker of the government team and why we propose that we should wash the corruptor's asset whenever they do corruption. So, I see that the opposition team have failed to get our point where we have to make corruptors live under the poverty line because basically corruption money made a lot of people lose their asset and makes society live worse in poverty each year by it, and why we propose in returning 150% of the asset that they stole is because the money that the corruptors took are from society itself. Because by taking 150% at least, the government will cleanse 150% of the asset that the corruptors took and cleans a small percentage of poverty. And then corruptors getting impoverished will not affect the government by any means. It will not add more burden for the government because the money that he took comes from the government itself. And the extra 50% interest that they have can be said that himself with his money guarantees his own life. But it's only that the government has access to his money because the corruptor returns the corruption money and his own private savings. That's why we agree why we propose we should take at least 150% if someone does the corruption. And the opposition team clearly sides with the corruptors by their own statements because as we know they do not agree that we should make them live under poverty line because it will add more burden into the government itself, but even though the reality is not like that. Even there's a lot of non-corruptors that didn't get guaranteed by the government itself, living a miserable life under the poverty line, but I don't think that's the case for the current status quo. So basically, corruptors have indirectly stolen money from the society itself without people realizing because the corruptors are covered by a legal system, but it's getting exploited by the politicians. That's why there's organizations like KPK that has to do all the investigation to track down all the dirty money. That's why a lot of people do money laundering in order to get away from KPK itself. So corruption erodes the trust from the public because of the corruption that happened in the country. It will waste the tax of the society that they have paid for themselves. Because remember, the money that people corrupt from is for public service. It's for infrastructure and let's say health insurance for the poor. But because of one guy corrupting like majority of billions, it will ruin the system and infrastructure itself. So, and we should also be aware of corruption because corruption increases inequality among the society itself. It decreases popular accountability and political responsiveness, and it gets rid of the public's trust among citizens. Because in order to corrupt, you need to have at least a role in the government system, and you're getting chosen by the citizens itself. And imagine if you betray them, how they will feel and how they will think about the party itself for the future elections. And then among the common sense that we brought earlier, why the opposition team still wants the corruptor to have at least human right, but we also believe that by washing their money, impoverishment for the corruptors is a necessary thing because by doing that, we cleanse their asset and we get hold of the corruptor's asset, but we can guarantee a lot of people's life because by corruption itself, it ruins a lot of people's life. That's why we're doing it for the greater good, and we also guarantee the safety and the human rights for the corruptor itself. And note that we will not make qualms with the family because the family has nothing to do with the corruption. Okay, well, we need to see that corruption usually happens in developing countries because the system itself is not ready to handle big amount of money. That's why if we want to be a really good government in a couple of years, we need to at least make a proper system how to punish the corruptors and prevent backups from getting in, and bribery, we need to get rid of all of that. We need to start from zero for a greater good. That's why at a macro level, corruption affects poverty through declining economic growth and reduces foreign domestic investment, serve market and set competition. I think that is all from me. Thank you very much.